Buffalo bulls in the small pan. We are busy making our way towards where we have a bit of luck, and she's moved into the river for to find a bit of cool during the day, and we can find those tracks again. So to everyone from wherever you are in the world, welcome, and hopefully we can find that female leopard. Otherwise, I'm quite sure we'll find lots of other interesting things on the drive so far. On the drive today, sorry. And we'll leave these old boys to keep resting. There's one attacking a glory bush. Nice and warm this afternoon. So we're hoping that leopard has moved into the drainage line itself and to find onto the cool sand. But you never know. I'll be happy just to find tracks so we can start tracking again. Let's check carefully around here, make sure she hasn't come out of the river. There's been lots of elephants on top of our tracks during the day. Yeah, it's just such quite interesting light because you've got half in the shade and half in the... Oh, just turned. There we go, I'm not gonna... Well, I think next branch up and to the right slightly. Oh, and he flew. I think we could get another view of him. I'm not going to make the mistake of asking what bird is that, because I got told it was too easy this morning. There we go. He's put in the shade there, but we can still see him. Okay, so on the second tree to the left, on the bottom low branch, or of that big branch coming out to the right, he's on the bottom dead branch. There we go. Just wait 1 second. There he is. Woodlands kingfisher. A little bit in the shade. He was sitting in the sunlight a bit earlier. But I will keep a lookout to see if we can see if we can get one that's out in the nice bright sunlight. So we're going to continue. We lost those leopard tracks about 100 meters downstream from where we are. So what we're going to do is be checking the edge of the drainage down here very, very carefully to see if she just wasn't sleeping in a thick patch of grass that we might have missed. And also we're just hoping she might have moved down to sleep in the cool sand. What we will do if we don't get any success here is we'll cross out, and those elephant tracks look like they were heading towards Buffelshoek Dam. So here's where we lost those tracks. Just look very carefully around. Doesn't seem to be any tracks yet. It is still quite hot. Good afternoon, John from Missouri. John would like to know, when would the last of the Woodlands kingfishers leave Djuma? Well, John, I'm just going to double check, but it should be quite shortly. Here we go. I would guess probably towards the end of this month. There might still be some around next month, but very few. I always get a little bit confused because of spending the majority of the last sort of year and a bit in Central Africa, and they never leave, some of them, so we actually used to have them around in Gabon. The temperature is 34 degrees Celsius, which is 93 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a very balmy afternoon. There's one to confuse everyone, if I can get it. You see him? Oh, he's flown. Oh, he's flown into a better position. No, we want the one, that one, because he's a tricky one. The one on the right gives it away. Yeah, so we have a look on the left. It's a bird I know you all seen quite a few times if you've been on drives with us often, but this one looks a bit different from what the ones you're used to seeing looks like. Let's just hang on there, we'll be in on him in a second. A little bit higher, and there we go, center. So, that's a bird a lot of you guys should know, although he doesn't look like what you would be used to the species looking like. So if anyone wants to have a gander at what bird that is, please send your answers via email to questions@WildEarthTV, or just use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. You guys said I wasn't answering tough enough questions this morning, so you're now in for it this afternoon. So we can hear another one calling, another 2 or 3 calling, so that should give you an idea that it is a social species. There's another call, very distinct call. You hear it quite a lot out here in the Lowveld. all over Djuma. Oh, he's gone. So we're just going to wait here for a few seconds. I'm just going to move forward slightly. We're not going to give it away just yet, but we will show you some of the other ones if they hang around. We'll just wait for a few of your answers to come in. So let's see who's been concentrating on Game Drive. Still listen to them calling. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. So we've got our, oh sorry, 1 second. So we've got Diane, Emily, and what was the other name there? Okay. Okay. Emily in Virginia, Diane, Raisa, okay, well, you guys are right. That was a magpie shrike, but he didn't have the long tail. So that's why it was quite interesting. He probably lost his tail. They have big territorial fights. A lot of people said fork-tailed drongo, which is, I can understand why you might get confused there. But we'll try to find a fork-tailed drongo later. But that was a magpie shrike who doesn't have the full-length tail. He could have lost, as I said, in a fight. Or maybe he just didn't grow a tail like all the other magpie shrikes. I'm going to see if we can see the rest of the group, and we can show you one with the long tail. Can you see them there, Alex? I can hear them. Oh, well done to the 4 of you. Seems like most people went with fork-tailed drongo. See, I told you I wasn't going to make it easy this afternoon. Let's have a look. Can we see one with a long tail? No, they're a bit far off the road. But we can have a look in the book quickly. Here we go. There it is, up in the top right corner. But the one we saw, its tail was only about that long, which made it quite confusing. So well done to the 4 of you who got it right. To the rest of you, tat tat tat, back to the bird book. Sorry, there was one other correct entry. Duran also got it right. Well done. Good afternoon, Terry from Canada. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Terry would like to know what animal species, I'm guessing in the area where we work at the moment, are endangered, and would we intervene to save them? Terry, it's quite an interesting question. Well, let me answer first which are the species that are endangered in our area. The endangered species in our area would be probably African wild dog, and rhino, black and white, and cheetah, not really endangered, more they're classed as threatened. But let me try to think, what else is endangered around here? Ground hornbills, thank you very much, Alex. Terry, generally in a wild system like this, we'll only interfere if the animal's problems or injuries are caused by people. Other than that, we normally try to let nature take its course, even with endangered species, which is sometimes a bit difficult for people to understand, but we are trying to let nature be, so to speak. So, but I do know that maybe with rhinos and whatnot, people would interfere at the moment if one got stuck in the mud or was injured by another rhino in a fight. But generally, you only interfere if whatever the problem is being caused by man, not if it's been caused by sort of natural occurrence, like lions killing wild dog pups, or a rhino being killed by another rhino in a territorial fight. I hope that helps clear that up for you, Terry. Good afternoon. No updates. There were just 2 Duggar boys at Twin Dams Junction, Vulture's Nest. Ephraim coming? Ephraim coming? Aubrey coming? Aubrey, can you confirm the position of those Ngalas? Sorry, Aubrey, I'm copying you 0 out of 5. Did anyone else copy that and could relay for me? Affirm. Copy. Thank you very much, yours. I got excited there, then I remembered this is where Near West God found Mvula, and I think those are his tracks. Those are his tracks going down the road. Good afternoon, Teresa in Virginia Beach. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Teresa would like to know if there's been any further reports on that elephant cow we saw yesterday morning with the prolapsed uterus. Unfortunately not. That herd has moved off, and I haven't heard from any of the other guides. I don't think anyone else has seen that cow since yesterday. So unfortunately there's no further update on that. Also, just with the general behavior of that group of elephants. I think that most guys coming across them before spending quite a bit of time and being able to see something like the prolapse would have moved away, just because that group of elephants is quite aggressive. So I think everyone will be giving them quite a wide berth, which also makes it quite difficult to sort of keep a watch on something like that, because if you keep putting vehicles close to those animals, there could be an accident. Well, apparently we've had a few requests to know about my hat and what material it's made from. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I think it's made from straw. I bought it on the side of the road from a street vendor on my last trip into Johannesburg. I just liked the look of it. Also, unlike the leather hats and whatnot, I just find it a little bit cooler when it's hot. I do own a leather hat as well, but in the summer months, while it's quite warm, I seem to prefer the lighter hat. Good afternoon, Carrie from Costa Rica. Oh, can smell some elephants. And Carrie's questions about elephants. Carrie would like to know whether elephants and rhinos get along, or are they enemies? Well, Carrie, I wouldn't say they're enemies as such, but I wouldn't say they get on either. There have been records of young elephant bulls killing rhinos in Pilanesberg National Park, and I've heard about it, I think, in Zimbabwe as well. But basically, not really. They sort of try avoid each other. But young elephant bulls can be quite boisterous, and especially in very dry times when there's limited water and water holes. Often that's where those conflicts happen. Would be around a water hole, and the elephant might decide that the rhino shouldn't be sharing its water, and it will try to chase it away, and sometimes that does become physical. But those are exceptions rather than the norms. Yep, speaking of water, it's quite warm. Oh, we got some red-billed hornbills, if they sit for long enough. So they're physically a bit smaller than the yellow-billed hornbills, which I'm sure a lot of people know as Zazu from The Lion King. But they are quite similar looking, apart from they're physically a bit smaller, and their beaks are also a bit smaller. But in habits and whatnot, very similar. He's just doing a bit of preening. Hop. Ah, there's another bird to look at after we finished looking at him. I just heard him calling from the top of the dead tree in front of us. Still very pretty birds. So Alex, if we pull out and we go to the dead knobthorn tree directly in front of us, and we go right to the top right hand side So there's a European beater. The light's a bit bad. I'm just going to try roll quietly forward and hopefully he doesn't... Oh no, we're not rolling. Oh, we are rolling. Hopefully he doesn't fly away. That's unfortunate. They're also going to be leaving quite soon, within the next month or so, heading for their proper summer chases. So they spend summer in Africa, and then when we start heading into our winter, they come spend summer in Europe. I actually was on a holiday in the south of France with a bunch of friends, not really bird watchers, and they couldn't understand how excited I got when I saw one in the south of France, and a European roller. So it was quite nice for me to see them in the sort of quite complete opposite context, in Provence, sitting on a telephone wire next, or an electricity wire next to the road, and I'm so used to seeing them out in the bush. It was quite interesting. There's some quite good bird watching in the south of France, in Provence and around the Camargue. Went and saw flamingos there. Everyone else was enjoying the fine food and restaurants, and I was scurrying around with my binoculars and Birds of Europe bird book. Also took it upon myself to track down a wild boar, because I'd never seen one before, and managed to find one near the area where we were staying. Oh, a little family, about 5 or 6 of them. Good afternoon, Helena from the US. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Helena has got a 3-part question for me, so Brian's just going to feed it to me bit by bit. The first question: do we know when the Djuma cam is gonna start working again? Unfortunately, we don't. We are trying to fix it as fast as possible, but with a lot of those cameras, the components come from very far away. So we're waiting for components to arrive so we can get that camera up and running again. The next question is, what happened to the dominant male of the Kunyuma pride? As far as I know, I think the dominant male of the Kunyuma pride has been the Matimbas for the last few years, just judging by their behavior with the young male, and the fact that they've got those 2 young lionesses who are about a year old. So I would say the dominant males of the Kunyuma pride are well and to the east of us. And then the last question is, why didn't the Matimbas have their own pride before they are fully grown lions? I think they've sort of been the dominant coalition over the Kunyuma pride for a couple of years now, would be my guess. And as far as I know, they also dominate over 2 other prides in this area that we don't see very frequently. The Styx pride and the Tsalala breakaway pride. What do we got there? Oh, it's a duiker, little grey duiker. Do you see him, Alex? Right at the base. Oh, we're not going to be able to get a picture there. He's really behind that thicket there. I just saw the movement. See his little tail flicking. Yeah, little grey duiker. So, and I'm not sure which males were dominant over the Djuma pride before the Matimbas. Could have been the Mapoko, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think the Majingalans are too far south. They sort of focus around Dudley, Sparta, Castleton, and Flockfield. So we're nearly at Buffalo's Hook Dam. So hopefully there's some elephants that have come there. There's quite a lot of elephant tracks in this area. So hoping we can find them drinking. So we've got a question from unknown. So guys, when you send your questions, and please remember to put in your name and where you're from. And it's a question about hornbills, and they would like to know which is more common, the red-billed or the yellow-billed. I would probably say in this area they're about the same, and it depends where you go. Let's see if there's anything happening at Buffalo's Hook Dam. We're going to go around to the other side of the dam, so we have the sun at our backs. We're not staring straight into the sun and trying to see what's around. Oh, there goes a grey heron just shot across the boats. Oh my goodness, just some hippopotamus. I'm just going to drive a little bit further so you can see up that little... No, nothing up the little inlet. Afternoon hippos. This will be one of the first times we've come here and not seen a buffalo bull. Let's have a look at that grey heron quickly, please, Alex. So there's a grey heron. Quite an interesting bird. Some of you might recognize that heron. It is the same species that occurs in the States and in Europe. One of the most widespread bird species in the world. And you see how his mouth is open slightly, and if you look very carefully you can see his throat's moving a little bit just below on the bottom beak, and the wings are slightly open. Now all that is to combat heat. So under the wings there's some patches that don't have feathers, so the blood vessels are right up against the surface there, and they open the wings slightly and it gets the wind through. And then also by opening their mouth there's a lot of blood vessels in the tongue, so that also helps to cool them down. Oh, we've got a hunt on the go. Hopefully comes. There we go. Isn't that nice of him? Whoop. There we go. We got a pied kingfisher on the hunt. Whoa. Oh, nice work. Oh, that is nice work, Alex. He is moving at some extreme speed. Oh, he's decided to go sit in the tree. Didn't see anything on his hunt. and he's actually leaving the dam. I'm going to go find another dam to fish in. There's some lazy hippos. It looks like from the tracks around the edge of the dam, we missed the elephants. Not to say they're not going to be more sometime later. Good afternoon, John in Canada. Welcome on Drive. John's got a question about hippos. Oh, there's an Inyala coming down to drink. John would like to know, do hippos move between different waterholes? And if so, how far will they travel? To answer your question, John, they do. And they can travel some great distances. I know in Botswana, I think one of the longest distances when the Savuti marsh dried up, that hippos were recorded traveling from the Savuti to the permanent Linyanti swamp system was over 100 kilometers. But that is unusual. I mean, these hippos will probably travel up to 5 kilometers between different water holes. But not so much in this area, but other areas in Africa, towards the end of the dry season where grass becomes quite scarce. Hippos have been known to do over 30 kilometers away from water to find grazing, and then 30 kilometers back to the grazing. So 60 kilometers in a night, which is really, really impressive. And that's just to find decent graze. See? Very alert while coming down to drink. Good afternoon, Joy from Pennsylvania. Welcome on Drive. Joy would like to know if we got any other information on the deceased baby hippo. Oh, got a fright. That was floating in Buffelshoek Dam. Unfortunately not. When we came back the next day, it was gone. Whether it was maybe picked up by one of the by hyenas. Then Djuma Pride came past here, so they might have also eaten it. Or it is possible that the hippo might have eaten it. They do eat carrion from time to time. You can see how nervous the animals are when they come down to drink. And that's very important if you don't want to become someone's dinner. Such a pretty antelope, Nyala. And there's that heron opening up his wings to let the breeze through onto the bare patches under his wings. Okay, well, let's carry on. Oh, there goes the heron. Oh, nice, Alex. What's he landed next to there? Oh, a blacksmith lapwing. Well, maybe watch that heron for a few more minutes. He's just drinking, not fishing. Heat must have got too much for him. Good afternoon, Susan. Susan said she's noticed that whenever there's elephant at the waterhole, zebra give them a wide berth, or if there's zebra at the waterhole first, the elephants actually come chase them. And she would like to know whether zebras and elephant don't get on. I would say they're probably not the best of friends, but I don't think it's too much animosity. What happens when the elephants chase something like zebra away, it's normally the young bulls, and it's more because it's fun. And from the zebras staying away, it's because they don't like being chased by young elephant bulls. And then that goes again down to the question that was asked earlier about rhino and elephant. If it is a time of drought, I've actually seen elephant stand in the middle of a waterhole and not let anything else drink from it and keep chasing the other animals away, protecting the resource. And that includes chasing other elephants away. So it all just depends on the situation. But as a general, elephants get on with elephants, and zebra get on with zebra. Although zebra do have a more of a symbiotic relationship with other smaller herbivores like wildebeest and impala and whatnot, and they will tolerate each other's presence from having more eyes to look out for predator. And specifically with wildebeest, the zebras being the bulk grazers, they eat everything, and the wildebeest come afterwards, and they're far more picky eaters, and they will eat the specific grass species in between. Okay, we've got some white helmet shrikes. Can you see them there, Alex? At the back of the tree. I think you're in the gap. If you go in that V, take this big V of the marula tree to where the branches cross. Have they moved? There's still one there. There we go. Oh no, Murphy's Law. There were some white crowned helmet shrikes there, but they have taken off. So go ahead with that question, please, Brian. And if so, when do they suckle? Because the mothers spend a lot of time in the water. Sorry guys, just let me hang on a second, I gotta listen to this. Oh, sorry guys, we disappeared there for a second. And back to your question, Eileen. Hippos do give birth in very shallow water, on the edge of water. Quite often, where they can, they will find reed beds to give birth in very shallow water. And the mothers will move, the babies do suckle at night when the animals are out of the water. That's when they suckle. So they don't suckle under the water or anything like that. Good afternoon, Ellen in Illinois. Ellen would like to know how to distinguish between a female kudu and a female nyala. Well, firstly, the size of female kudu is much, much taller, and the very big distinguishing factor is a female nyala is sort of burnt orange, and a female kudu is grey. They do both have white stripes and similar coloration, but they are very different colors. So guys, I'm just going to jump off the vehicle for a second. I've seen some tracks here. I don't know if you see these tracks. Right here. And they look quite fresh from this morning. I didn't hear anyone calling line tracks around here. So far I can only see the track of one male. So I'm just going to have a quick look around here a bit more carefully. To see what's going on. Tracks going off into the bush here. I'm just going to make sure they're fresh. So I'm back. There are tracks of at least 3 different individuals that I can see, but this is a busy access road, and they are definitely from either early this morning or this morning sometime. I can see at least 1 male and 2 female tracks, and they are heading straight into Djuma. No one has found the Kunyuma Pride since yesterday evening. So there were tracks somewhere around this area that Scott saw this morning. So I'm just going to try to get hold of him and then figure out a plan from that. I'm just going to go check the last position that Scott had tracks, and then we're going to come here and then check the fire break, and maybe check Hyena Road. Scott, do you copy? Scott, can you confirm that last place you had trucks for those in Ngala this morning? Okay, I'm about 200 meters west of Buffelshoek West, and I've got tracks of at least 3 animals heading southwest into Vuyatela. Copy. Did you see those tracks this morning? Okay, copy. I'm going to follow up on these for a bit. Okay, so we're just going to double check where Scott had the tracks, but I think these are more fresh. I think what they did is they went around into Buffalo's Hook, and then they've come back across to our side. And I got a strange feeling I picked up a few pepper ticks. Good afternoon, Jackie from Chicago. Jackie's asking about lapwings and plovers. She'd like to know whether plovers are still known as lapwings or lapwings are known as plovers. So the original name for them, Jackie, was in South Africa was plovers. A few years ago it was changed to lapwings. The reason for this being that between East Africa and Southern Africa and other parts of Africa, there was a lot of confusion with the birds, because what we call the plover, they call the lapwing. What we call the batteria, they call the short-tailed eagle. So what they did is to sort of make things simpler, like from this book here, because this is Birds of Africa south of the Sahara. Instead of trying to argue about whose name was right, what they did is they went to the first name everything was originally called by. So the plovers were originally called lapwings, or that species of plover. There are still plovers, your small sort of plovers that occur around water base and estuaries and things like that, like killets and three-banded, and those are still known as plovers, whereas the bigger species are now known as lapwings. Yeah, so I'm just going to concentrate for a second, see if I get any tracks coming onto the fire break from where we were. And it's quite tough here because there's quite a lot of grass on this road and it's not used too often. At the moment all I've seen is elephant tracks. Let's keep a look in the shade. I mean, they might just be sleeping right here. So what I'm looking for when I'm not looking for tracks is I'm either looking for a flick of an ear or that sort of white of a lion's belly sleeping in the shade. I'm going to check a little bit further down the fire break and then I'm going to cut back to the main cut line to see if any tracks have come out further west. from where we were looking. The ground's quite stony here, so I'm just going to have a quick look to where the ground gets sandy on Hyena Road. Maybe they came down here. Otherwise I'm going to head back to the cut line and have a look carefully there. Good afternoon, Barbara in New York City. Barbara would like to know what happens to me if, while I'm tracking lions on foot, I stumble into them. Well, generally I'll give myself a little high five for finding them first. But no, what happens normally, especially on a hot day like today, is they'll probably lift their heads. If I am quite close, they might growl at me and give me a warning charge. As long as I stand still and move away from them slowly, it's generally not a problem. So we haven't got any tracks coming out, and we've done about a 500 meter little block. So when I get back onto that cut line, I'm going to check very carefully. I also then going to check back towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, but I'm going to check the back side of the dam, not the dam wall side where we are, because there's some nice drainage lines and stuff that the lions might like to sleep up in. Checking these very well used cut lines, because these are access roads that the farm management vehicles use, and like food deliveries and all sorts of stuff like that can make the tracking on these roads a little bit tougher. You can see there's tractor tracks, guys who fix the roads and make sure all the bridges are okay. So what I'm doing is I'm checking right on the edge, sort of just off where the tires would have been, to see if I can see any tracks there. So far, just elephant. I was around here. I think there we go. There's lioness tracks coming in. And if you want to see if you can show those tracks there, just to make sure everyone doesn't think I'm hallucinating. There's a lioness track coming into Djuma. Okay, well, that's a good sign. We've got some tracks to follow. So there's one there, second one here. There's a third one. And there's the first one that we spotted that sparked my interest. Okay. Oh no, see now they're just trying to confuse me. Now there's tracks coming out. Well, they could have just looped back, but that's one set of tracks coming out and 3 going in. That's 4 going in, 1 coming out. Just gonna go check at the back of the dam. Just going to check quickly at the back of the dam. Because they're up and down, it's very difficult to get an exact direction. So there's a little 2-track that goes into the back of the dam, and the fact that there are no buffalo bulls there could mean something. So we're going to go have a look, and there's a tick. Good. Bye, go ahead. Brian, you can go ahead with that question now. Good afternoon, Valerie from Ontario. Valerie would like to know, what are wildebeest closely related to, antelope-wise? Probably the hartebeest family is its closest relation, but wildebeest are wildebeest, so wildebeest are most closely related to other wildebeest. But out of the other antelopes, it would probably be the hartebeest family. So this little road runs behind Buffalo's Hook Dam. Just check carefully around here, you never know. If nothing here, we're going to head through back towards those tracks. Maybe check Hyena Road. Got really excited there for a second, but it was not the white of a lion belly, it was just a termite mound. Good afternoon, Sandy. on Twitter. Sandy would like to know if I've ever contracted tick bite fever or malaria. Yes to both, strangely enough. I actually only had my first bite of tick bite fever last year, and it's not the normal tick bite fever we get here. I got quite a rare form of tick bite fever from the rainforest in Gabon, and it took the doctors quite a long time to work out what it was. Malaria I've had many times. I think I've had malaria, if I remember correctly, 27 times so far. And to quote my dad, one of his favorite sayings, malaria is not serious if you take it seriously. So if you've had malaria quite a few times, you know the symptoms very quickly, and the medication these days is very good. It's called Coartem, and basically you take your pills and you're sick for about 2 or 3 days at the maximum. That's only if you catch it early. If you leave it late, then malaria is very serious and you'll end up in hospital. I've only ended up in hospital from malaria once when I was a teenager. Sorry?
What are the symptoms?
Oh, the symptoms, watch out for that, it's really thorny. The symptoms are very similar to sort of a cold and flu. So you've got achy joints, headache, fevers, but the most important thing is that you have all those flu-like symptoms, but you have no snotty nose. And then also, depending on the person, nausea or diarrhea. And that's dependent on the person. Some people get one or the other, some people get neither, and some people who are really unlucky get both. I myself get very get nausea quite bad when I have malaria. My mother had a terrible Christmas when we were, I'm trying to think how old I was. I must have been 8 or 9 years old. My mother had myself, my younger brother, and my father. We all had malaria over Christmas. And it's strange how certain things can set off that nausea. So my mother gave us all buckets, and we used to walk around the house or go to bed with a bucket in case we got sick. But then my dad's whole family came to visit, and they wanted to have a barbecue, have a big barbecue and whatnot. And they started with the barbecue, and it literally sent my dad, my brother, and myself all running and vomiting everywhere. And my mom kicked out the whole family, said it was bad enough that she had to deal with the 3 of us. And as I'm sure a lot of the ladies out there know, a sick man is a very terrible creature. And now she had 3 of them in one house. Go ahead, Scott. I copied half. I copy, thanks very much. I'm just giving an update. So I've got 4 sets of tracks heading south from Buffalo Cut Line, about 200 meters west of Buffalo West, or actually about 100 meters west of the quarry. I'm battling to see the tracks on the fire break, so I'm probably going to try Hyena Road and then back up towards Buffalo Dam. I've checked behind the dam, there's nothing there. Inkomo. Okay, so guys, we're going to check this fire break again. I'm really looking carefully in all the shade. This is quite a big block here that they're in. So we're going to go down Hyena Road and back around the back, see if they possibly popped out down towards Central. It is strange because we've got tracks going in all directions, but the 4 tracks that look the most fresh have headed south. Copy. Come on, Alex, spot us a line.
Incredible line right at the back.
So Hyena Road is actually one of the roads we, I guess, utilize the least. I think I've only ever driven it once. So maybe, but it's feeling neglected, so it's going to produce us some lines. Alright, welcome back to Terry in Canada. Terry would like to know, where do the prey animals hide from the predators and where do they sleep? Well, depending. Well, sometimes they will move into the big open areas, so they've got a better sort of vantage around them. Others will sleep in the bottom of thickets or just in the grass. They rest more than sleep. If you had to sleep completely out here, you would be retired quite quickly. So they rest rather than sleep, so they're always on. Their ears are twitching and their nose, they're always listening, always checking the wind. So they don't really sleep as such, as more as rest. Our elephants have been having fun putting lots of branches on the road. Okay guys, looks like Andrew and Scott have managed to sort out their technical difficulties they're having. So Alex and I are going to keep looking for the lines, and we're going to cross over to Scott so he can say good afternoon and we can see what Scotty's up to. Enjoy!
Welcome on board the Jigger. Sorry, myself and Andrew are a little bit delayed this afternoon, but there was a loose connection with the battery charging setup, and therefore we didn't get a strong charge or any charge between the drives, which would have made broadcasting impossible if we had have headed out at the regular time. So we have charged the batteries up a little bit, and we'll hope to be out for about 45 minutes to an hour before they die. And we've got lucky. As you can see, there's a beautiful bird of prey sitting in this marula tree, and it's an African fish eagle. It's not fully grown yet in terms of its plumage. Size wise it's probably not going to get much bigger, but it doesn't have its full adult plumage. It's still immature. And if you look closely, it appears like it could be holding a fish in its left talons. I'm not sure if I'm seeing things. Even with my binoculars, it's hard to tell. But what we can tell, just from the way it's sitting, is that its crop is very full. Now, a crop is essentially the bird's stomach, almost like a storage stomach. And it's just below the throat, and it's really protruding. So I think it has had a very big meal and may simply be holding on to the remaining bit of fish in its talon, waiting to get hungry again. Either that or it's a branch. It's hard for me to tell. We've only been here a couple of minutes, and it hasn't once even attempted to feed on anything.
Try sneak up on it. Get closer.
We should try sneak up on it. Let's try that. Well, you can only be so sneaky when you're in a big vehicle, but we'll do our best and just try and edge forward a few more meters. Let's see if that helps us get a better view. Well, it certainly did have something that I wanted to hold on to there, because it's flown off with it. And considering that it's a fish eagle that does feed predominantly on fish, I'm guessing that's what it's managed to capture. So, interesting stuff, and I wonder if it's the same fish eagle that myself and Brian saw this morning as we arrived at Vuyatela Dam. A fish eagle flew off out of a tree. Anyway, good afternoon again and welcome on board the Jigger. It's good to be out again, and myself and Andrew are sitting back at camp, kind of scratching our heads, a little bit jealous of Brent and Alex being out. And great that Alex getting to spend the whole day out on the camera today, to give him a break from being in the final control room. Now, the plan is for myself and Andrew to head into the area where Brent last had tracks of a female leopard this morning, in all likelihood Karula, who is a female leopard that spends a lot of time on the Djuma property, and we sadly haven't seen her as much as we would have liked to, but this is her home and she does spend a lot of time here. We just battle to find her sometimes. Anyway, there were tracks of her in the middle of the property, and there's a strong chance she could pop out around any one of these corners that we go around now. So that's our game plan, and it's good that we've managed to at least come out and give Brent some time to follow up on the lion tracks that he is following at the moment. It's a tricky area where he has those tracks. There's not a high road network there, so there's big tracts of land with no roads going through them, which makes checking areas and looking for any more tracks very difficult. So good that we've given him some time to focus on that now, as we do our best to focus on trying to find Karula. There's some squirrels playing about in this dead leadwood tree, and they are such cute animals to watch. Sadly though, they often don't hang around, so we'll see how camera shy these ones are, and maybe they'll provide us with some entertainment. It's getting to the time of the year now where we will be likely to find squirrels digging through elephant dung in order to try and find marula seeds that would have passed through the elephant's digestive system and can now be further fed on by the tree squirrels, who are specialized in being able to crack into these nuts. So that's something that we can look forward to trying to share with you over the coming weeks. The squirrels digging through the big boluses of elephant dung in search of marula seeds. Oh, that was incredible. That was a big jump. I don't even know where it went, because I'm also looking at the monitor just like you, and I'm not sure if that's the same one or a different one. They move so quickly, and that was a big jump that it cleared there, probably about 2.5, possibly 3 feet. And they have got very, very lucky with this home, these squirrels. It's a beautiful, beautiful big old dead leadwood tree. And just before we leave, Andrew's going to pan out and show you the whole homestead that they have. And this tree we could expect to find here in the same place in 50 to 100 years, unchanged from as it is now. It's an incredibly strong wood, the leadwood tree, as its name would suggest, and not quite fire retardant, but it would have certainly survived 1 or 2 blazes. You can see actually some parts of the trunk, especially on the right hand side, are blackened from old fires, but fires obviously burnt cool enough to not actually create a major impact on the tree. So the road we're driving down now runs parallel to the same riverbed where Brent did have tracks of this female leopard. So she was heading towards us, but just to our left in a riverbed. And a couple of 100 meters from here, Brent's had the last tracks, and I'm not sure whether she disappeared to the left of the riverbed or to this side of the riverbed. There was a lot of elephant that moved through the area, making it difficult for him to establish what exactly happened. either way, we are certainly in an area where we could expect to find her, and it wouldn't be a great surprise if we did bump into her at any moment from now on. And because it has cooled down now, there's also a strong chance she's even on the move or has moved from where she may have lay up this morning. So it's important for me to check for tracks along the way now, because, as I said, she may have got active, she may have moved from where she may have been resting during the middle of the day when it was hotter. So my plan is to drop down into the riverbed and see if she possibly isn't moving in that same riverbed again. If we don't have any luck after that, well then we'll have to make another decision at that point in time. It really is difficult to plan exactly what you're going to do out here, because there are just so many variables that cause you to alter your track at any given stage. But go ahead. Could you just go again, please? I didn't copy the beginning part there. Donna in Maine, good afternoon and welcome on board. Donna would like to know what would have killed a leadwood of that age. It's a very good question, Donna, and I'm not sure what exactly would cause that. There's possibly various different things that could cause it to die, old age being one of them. Trees do have a lifespan, just like us humans do, so potentially it had just reached the end of its life, and that would be my guess. That was a fairly large leadwood tree, and it takes them a very long time to grow to that size. They're very slow growing trees, and I'm guessing old age would have been the factor that killed it, because insects and termites are ill-equipped to be able to cause any damage to a tree of that strength. So I think it was old age. So we're just gonna follow this riverbed. I'm not sure if Brent's an antelope called a bushbuck just ran off. We might be able to get another visual of it, so I'm just going to creep forward ever so slightly. You don't get to see many bushbuck here. There it comes out to the left here, Andrew. Perfect. So, oh, well done, Andrew. So quite similar to the Inyala, but lacks the vertical white stripes. It's just got a few little white spots there you can see on its rump. And that was a brief glimpse, but Andrew did very well to get that shot across to you. And who knows, it'll potentially keep coming into another small gap. I'm not sure though. But the bushbuck is in the same spiral horned antelope family as the Inyala, as well as the kudu. But I don't think it's going to pop out into that gap where Andrew's waiting out. Do you think it is? Can you see it anywhere? No, I think it's disappeared further to the west. Anyway, it was a brief glimpse, but a good one, of the bushbuck. Just got a question through from Dennis in Spain. Good afternoon, Dennis, and welcome on board. Dennis is asking why we never see any ostrich or crocodile. And good question, Dennis. Ostrich prefer more open areas, more open grasslands, so that we don't have a lot of in the Sabi Sands. They do have access to come here. If they wanted to, they could come here from the Kruger National Park. There's no fences, and you do find them even in the Manyareti, not far from here. You can see them, and even in my time in the Sabi Sands, I have seen an ostrich once. So there is a chance, but it's just simply the wrong habitat for them. Crocodiles, another good question. They tend to prefer to stay in the river systems that run through the Sabi Sands, and the dams that are on Djuma are possibly too small to house crocodiles permanently. I believe there was here once upon a time, but then it disappeared. So the crocodiles can exist here, but choose to live in either or the Sabi River, or the bigger dams that are found in the Sabi Sands. So it's a pity. They're two wonderful animals that I would certainly love to view, but we've got other gems that this area is famous for, and like most wilderness destinations, Dennis, each place you can go to or can decide to go to will have different benefits over the other. Each different wilderness destination will have something unique or special about it that another may not have. Crocodiles, ostrich, zebra and giraffe are 4 animals that you will not necessarily see when you come to the Sabi Sands, but you are guaranteed almost to see a lot of other great game viewing while you're here. So I hope that answers your question. Come on, Karuna. Well, no sign over here, so we're going to turn around and go and search another area. Sadly, this is as far as we can go up the riverbed. It's one of my favorite places to explore. It's nice and cool. You're surrounded by beautiful big trees. So even if you're not seeing any animals, it can still be a great place to drive around. I've chosen a bad spot to turn around, so I'm just going to do that again. Sorry, Andrew. I have to decide what to do next, and I'm thinking to head to Treehouse Dam. It's a place where I've had so much luck finding Kunyuma, one of the sons of the female leopard we're actually looking for now. So we'll head across there and then come back through this area a little bit later and see if we don't have any luck finding his mother. There are just so many hiding places. What a beautiful evening it is. No wind, and I didn't envy Brent heading out at 4. It's still quite hot then, but now it's really nice and cool and a great time to be out on safari. And something that is great about a lot of the lodges that you come to here, the guides will be flexible in terms of what time to head out, depending on the weather on that specific day. It's not necessarily cast in stone that you got at any given time. And you can fine-tune things to suit your specific needs from a day-to-day basis. And today would have been an example if I was guiding to rather head out at 5 as opposed to 4. And possibly come back a little bit later in the evening. Angela in Boston, good afternoon, and thanks for putting this question through, because it's one that I thought about this morning that I need to explain a bit more clearly and I didn't. Angela's asking, I sometimes speak about boundaries and we cannot go here and animals are moving towards one of our boundaries. Within the Sabi Sands, which is 65,000 hectares, there's about 18 lodges, possibly a few more. And each lodge owns its private piece of land within that 65,000 hectares. Now, some lodges own large pieces of land and other lodges own smaller pieces of land. The lodges with smaller pieces of land tend to share properties with one another, and depending on how much land they contribute to the traversing, they will be allowed X amounts of vehicles. So if they're contributing a large amount of land, they'll be allowed to put more vehicles out onto that property. And there's a whole lot of different traversing agreements between different landowners. Some landowners will receive a rent or traversing rent, a monthly fee paid by any other lodge that can have access to put one or two of their vehicles on their property. And other landowners will decide not to buy traversing rights from other lodges, depending on what the needs are of their specific lodge. So it's all quite complicated, but basically it's not a free-for-all, and these are commercial ventures that are, and there's competition between lodges here. So the long and the short of it is that you cannot go wherever you like, and the boundaries that I speak of are simply roads. There's no fences and no physical boundaries. It's simply roads, and the guides respect those boundaries, because if you're caught on the wrong side of the boundary, you would get fired. So, where you're not supposed to be. So that's the reality behind things here. And it is understandable, and in a way I think it's good that it's limited to certain amounts of vehicles per area, because if it was a complete free-for-all, there would be too many vehicles driving around. You'd lose the exclusivity of the safari experience in the Sabi Sands. And having said that, exclusivity will vary between one lodge in the Sabi Sands and another for that exact reason. Some lodges will have more vehicles traversing smaller areas than others, and that is what would make one lodge more attractive than another, because you'd ideally prefer to see less vehicles out when on safari than more. So I hope that answers your question, and it is just they're not physical boundaries, they're simply roads that we know are the boundaries of landowners' property. But thankfully there's no fences, and if there were fences and everything was fenced off in little blocks, we wouldn't have a natural ecosystem, which we do have. So it's great that there aren't fences between this land, and it's in everyone's best interest to have as little fences as possible, other than on the perimeter to keep the humans at bay. This morning, for example, when we were following Mvula, the male leopard, there was 2 vehicles in the sighting with us on Vuyatela that could, and they did have permission, or traversing rights to follow Mvula to where he moved off onto, whereas we didn't. So that just goes to show this morning even was a perfect example of that happening. Another thing, other than traversing, that we do battle with in this area, because it's undulating, it's difficult to get good broadcasting strength and signal because it's quite thick woodland and very undulating. So even if we did have access to lots of land, it would be difficult for us to traverse large areas because we would have to have antennas up all over the show. So maybe one day we'll find ourselves in an open area with easier broadcasting and therefore, simply from a broadcasting perspective, be allowed to traverse bigger distances. Are you looking for me? Well done, Brent. I'm not copying you very well. Try again, or maybe Brian can relay. Yeah, just speak slowly and it'll be fine. Sure, that's a tricky drainage line, buddy. I'm not sure what to suggest there. Copy. How far are you from Central Road? It's that small tributary that kind of runs up to the east. Yeah, it's very thick in there. I can try and come around onto Vulture's Nest, and that might help because Vulture's Nest runs on the western side of that drainage. Okay, copy, good luck. I'll just come onto Vulture's Nest and then at least I'll be in the area. Well, great news, folks. Brent's headed back to the area where he had the last tracks of Karula, the female leopard, this morning, and he actually managed to bump into her. Maybe not her, but he found a leopard. He said he wasn't sure whether it was a female or a male. He was on foot, he saw it, and got himself out of there sooner rather than later. So the problem is it's a very thick area. I know the little riverbed that he's talking about. It's not the main one. It's a tributary, and it's surrounded by very thick vegetation. He thinks he might be able to find a way in with the vehicle. I'm going to loop around to another road on the other side of the drainage to where he is, and that way hopefully be able to come up with something. But very well done to him for persevering and finding that leopard. And now we've just got to hope that we can show you an image of it, because it'll be frustrating for him, having spent all this time searching for an animal that he really wants to show you, finding it, and then not actually being able to show you. So anyway, good prospects, and we'll head back there and see if we can't help him out. Well, great news, folks. Brent's managed to get a visual, so we're going to link across to him and enjoy what he has in store for you.
Welcome back, guys. I can't see if it's a male or female. I think it's a male leopard, and I think it's got a kill here. I just saw it digging. So what happened is that it's very, very close to where we lost those female tracks this morning, but it's definitely a male. I'm not sure which male yet, and we can't really see his face. It definitely got a kill there by the looks of things. It's very difficult to see. So what happened was that we gave up on those lion tracks. They went into a really big, thick block, and unfortunately don't have the time to spend an hour walking in the block to try find them. So I said to Alex, let's go check this little drainage line that runs parallel or between Vulture's Nest and Nyala Road South, because it's very close to where we lost those leopard tracks this morning. There we go, it's moving the kill. And we'll try to reposition now. It's in a very difficult spot. It took us a lot to get down here. So Alex and I walked into the drainage line, and Alex hasn't done much walking in the bush before. So I said, well, whatever you do, don't run and just do what I do. And we hadn't even walked into the drainage line. We walked upstream for about 5 meters, and I was like, leopard, Alex. So it's got a kill there. We're going to try reposition. I just need to call this into the other vehicles as well. Let me just, Scott coming. I confirm it's not a female, it's a male, and it has a kill here. Visual's very bad at the moment. I'm going to try reposition, but it is in a very difficult area. Okay, so I'm just trying to plan where we can move. He's not lying in the best spot for us. I'm going to try inch a little bit forward. Just so, even if we can just see a few more rodettes and maybe what he's got. Firm. Scott, you might be able to get a visual from up above on the bank from Vulture's Nest. We've got a visual at the moment. I can't see what the kill is yet though. We'll try to figure out who this leopard is. No, it's probably just from where we are in Nyala or bushback. I can see orangish fur. So this looks to be a young male. So, Alex, how does it feel to know you were less than 15 meters from a male leopard on foot? We were just behind where he was when I just saw him. There we go, we've got, looks to be a bushbuck. Hopefully he's going to be kind and move it into a better position for us. Well, thanks to everyone. They've sort of confirmed my suspicions because of the way he snarled when we arrived. Everyone thinks it is Kunyuma, and this is my first sighting of Kunyuma, so very, very exciting. My first sighting of Kunyuma, and it's always really nice to be able to have found him on foot rather than to sort of bump into him walking down the road. Trust your instincts. No, Alex did not run. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he stood still. Stations, we've located a Madura Ingwe with a bamba in the drainage line between Weaver's Nest and Inyala Road South, about 150 meters to the north of the drainage line's junction with the Molwati. At the moment, it's one vehicle sighting due to access.
You can't come that side. There's no access from the other side.
It's difficult to see him for, but he's under, the Nyama's under a log, but it does look like there's still Ningi Nyama. Not sure, Brian. I think it looked like a bushbuck, but I haven't seen enough of the skin yet. Scotty, just stand by. I'm just going to take my earpiece out. Hey, firm Scott, which road are you on? Okay, Scott, I'm going to just turn off. I'm going to turn on my vehicle and you can hear my vehicle. If you can get either in sort of on the opposite side of the drainage or in from behind, there might be a view. I think possibly from the Molwati, you might be able to come in behind. I did see tracks when I walked into the drainage closer to the Molwati. See how he's using his incisors there when he turns his head to the side to cut through either skin or gristle or small bones. That looks like he's cutting through the skin there, so opening up a bit more of the carcass. I'm going to try and move again. We might be able to move a little bit forward. Camera actually needs to be where I am because I can just see his face, but unfortunately from where Alex is you can't. Oh, we can actually smell the stomach entrails from here. I'm definitely thinking bushbuck. I can see a little bit more of the leg now. It's amazing. You hear that crunching of the brisket, the sort of chest bone. So there's a lot of gristle and it's softer bone. Oh, firm now. Alex seems to think he can hear you behind us. Scott, if you keep coming behind us, but if you find a way to get onto the sort of northwestern bank, there might be a possibility. We are stuck behind a fallen down tree in the drainage, but at the moment I think this is the best visual unless you're able to get on top of the bank on the southern side. Copy. Sure. So guys, just bear with us. Alex is just going to try something with the camera to try and get a better view. Sorry guys, we'll have the camera up and ready, but it should give you a better view. Oh, I've lost my monitor. Watch the connectors on the back of the camera. Scott, I've got your audio. You are quite close. From this drainage seems to split into two little ones, and you're possibly still to the west of the second small one. Copy. Or the other option is to try the Moati. See where this drainage line joins the Moati. There might be an access in there. Okay, copy. Sorry?
Yeah, the connector's not long enough.
Oh, no problem. It's amazing how he's crunching through those small edges of the rib bones. Oh, I can nearly see the head of the... I'm just going to try to take a photo and then I can try to figure out what animal it is. Yeah, it does look like a female bushbuck. Or a young Inyala, one of the two. But I think it's more than likely, just judging from what I can see, a bushbuck. Oh, a bit of perseverance paid off this afternoon. Lots of tracking and then an educated guess. Got your audio. Probably a little bit further north. Okay, no, confirm you're probably directly opposite us now. I've got your visual. You're going past us. I don't know if you can see that Timbueti, and it looks like a tall, skinny knobthorn, and this what's this russet bush willow that I'm underneath. Yeah, you're in the spot. Copy. I'll keep watching for you. You've still got some space. And you're go very close now to the edge of the cliff. Sorry. Can you see this fallen down knobthorn? Right, he can see you. Still find that light, okay. Maybe if you turn your nose towards us, possibly. Okay, copy. So Scott's been trying to position himself above us to try and get a different view. Oh, there we go. It is a female bushbuck. As it's getting dark, you might be trying to move it towards a tree. Scott, you might get a shot from your position that you were in now. He's moved further up the bank. So he might be moving it now as we're at dusk, up into a tree or even possibly under a bush. When we arrived, we could see him burying the stomach contents, and that would be to mask some of the odor to keep other predators away. So Alex is just popping the camera back on the tripod. Well done on the handheld shots there, Alex. Nice work. Scotty's moving the kill sort of north now from my position. Go ahead. No problem. For at the moment, he's moving the Djuma now. I'm trying to stay with him, but he's not in the Moat. He's in the drainage line that runs between Batalea and Inyala Road South. It's very difficult in here. I've got a 1 out of 5 visual at the moment of him moving the Djuma, but I will keep you updated. Copy, and I'd say there's probably about half of Mbabala left. There's a nice Mbweti tree here. Scott, if you come around to that original position that I went in, there's access for 2 vehicles. Oh, he's too quick for us. He's gone right up the tree. I was trying to get into a position. He was just too quick for us. I was trying to get around so we could see him climb with that. But you saw that strength, that power. Wow, isn't that incredible, guys? Yo, look where he's taking it, right to the very end. It's going to move a little bit back, maybe we can see a bit more. There he is. I'm just going to turn the light off for now. I think he might move from where the kill is. Stations, my daughter Ingwe has hoisted the Djuma. There's now access for more vehicles if anyone else is interested. The exact position is about 200 meters from the Moati junction with the small drainage line that runs between Batalea Road and Inyala Road South. Scott, come in. Scott, could you do me a favor and please just drop a branch on that place where I accessed? There are other vehicles wanting to come in and I don't think they'll find it. Copy, thanks. So station's best access into the sighting. You'll see my trucks heading into the drainage line from the rubbing post on Inyala Road South. I think if we go back a little bit, we'll see a bit more. Oh, he's moving. Good evening, Pat. Pat would like to know, or Pat's saying it looked like Kunyuma was staring straight at me. And she wanted to know what that feels like, and do I think he was actually staring straight at me? Well, Pat, he was probably staring more at the vehicle than at me. And I enjoyed being stared at by him. It's amazing to see the intensity in those eyes when they focus on something. But I think he was more staring at the vehicle and the movement of the vehicle than at me personally.
Just trying to hold the light steady. Again.
Yep. You won't get. He's behind some thick bushes. I'm just gonna wait to see where he moves. There he goes. He's gonna walk out. Just checking his meat's still there. See how he looked up to where he put the bushbuck? Just going to reverse a little bit so we can use the side light. Fat, happy cat. So I'm quite excited. This is my first sighting of Kunyuma. Where he stored that bushbuck is really right up at the top, at the edge of that Timboti tree. Good evening, Carrie from Costa Rica. This, I think, is your second question today. Welcome back then. Carrie would like to know who names these animals. I'm actually going to get on the radio and ask Scott. Maybe he has a better idea than I do, or maybe Alex knows. Alex? No? Or Brian? Normally, the animals would be named by the rangers and guides in the area, by a distinguishing feature or by an area that they frequent. So I'm not quite sure who named Kunyuma, but I will ask Scott. Scott, come in. Scott, do you know who named Kunyuma and what does it mean? Copy, thanks. So confirm it doesn't mean little rascal. Scott's quite the joker this evening. He told me it meant little rascal, but it doesn't. We're not sure what Kunyuma means. It might possibly mean backwards or reverse, but I'm not sure who named him. Just one station with my Ingwe off in Yala Road South, about 300 meters from the junction with the Molwati. It's Brent. I'm in this position. It looks like Kunyama, but he's hoisted the Mbabala. He's just started moving now. He's walking back into the drainage line. I'll keep you updated. Might come lie in the sand because it's nice and cool. Oh, looks like he's picked up a little bit of an injury on his front left elbow. Looked like a little open wound there. Please don't go under that log. Why? Oh, he's going back to where the stomach contents are. He might try to bury some more of them. Watch out for the thorns there, Alex. Oh, we're okay. Okay, see, he's doing exactly that. He's gone back to where he's been feeding and the stomach entrails are. And what he's doing is he's covering up to try and mask some of the scent. And that's to try stop hyenas and other leopards or lions coming into the area. So this is very, very indicative leopard behavior. It's just trying to cover his tracks. He's almost following the exact trail he dragged that bushbuck on. How's that for camouflage? We've got a light right on him and you can just see the tips of his ears sticking out of the grass. He's still there. He obviously likes dragging us through the same thorn bush because this will be the 4th time. Hey Alex, that we've had to go through the same thorn tree. I actually cannot see him now. He's disappeared into that grass. Well, there we go. Thank you very much to all the viewers. He says Kunyuma is actually the Tsonga word for shy. Thank you very much for that. Just trying to see. I can't see him at the moment, so maybe he's living up to his name. Okay, watch the thorns. The wound I saw was just on his front. Sorry guys, let me just get... Oh, there we go, bugger.
Are you right?
Yeah, I've got a thorn in the head, I'll survive. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, there's some really big thorns on that blackthorn. One of those just sort of managed to catch me in the back of the head. But I'll survive. Well, we lost him in the grass, but I'm pretty sure he should come back around here, so we're just going to wait a little bit. The wound, it didn't look very serious, it just looked like a little nick on his front left elbow. It could have been from fighting, but more likely he got it while hunting. Sorry?
Probably switch off.
So we're just going to sit and stand by here for a little bit and wait. If you want, I'm going to try. You can't even see the kill. It's right in that thicket there. Do you know where the rubbing post is? The rubbing post on Inyala Road South. So from the Molati Junction, come about 250 meters on Inyala Road South, and you'll see the Nkonzo for Mamova turning into the drainage line. Okay, I've got your vehicle audio. He's Lalapanzi now, but maybe 1 out of 5 visual. Okay, copy. What I think is I might leave this position, and you can come in, so I'll meet you on Inyala Road South. Okay guys, what we're going to do is there are other vehicles who are coming in here and would like to also see this leopard, and he is very full and he's sleeping flat, and we've had a wonderful sighting. So what we're going to do is we're going to move out for the last little bit and let one of the other game drives come in. but we will be back here first thing in the morning to double check on it. Just stand by on in Yellow itself. I'm making my way out. It's very tight in the drainage. Are we behind there, Alex? Okay, now comes the fun part. You missed us getting in here, but you'll get to see us coming out. Watch out there. There's another branch coming through. You okay there? So as you can see, it was quite a challenging entrance into this sighting. The fun part's going to be getting out. We've still got to get up the big bank. Oh, hold on. Sorry, Brian, I didn't copy that. I'm just trying to direct someone into the sighting. I'll be back with you in about 2 minutes. Station who was making their way towards Kunyuma coming. Gobby, do you have my vehicle audio or my lights? Okay, copy. I'll see you on the road. I'll just need to explain to you where he's lying because it's quite difficult to book him. If you follow the lights that I'm on now, just follow my tracks into the drainage. Hey, firm from the northern side. I'll stand by for you on Nyala Road South. So because it's quite a difficult spot, the other vehicle's making his way, but I'm just going to wait here so I can explain how they can get into that sighting. Sorry, Brian, you can go ahead with what you were saying. But Raisa is just saying it's been one of the best sightings for her, seeing Kunyuma for the first time with a kill. Thank you, Raisa. It's my absolute pleasure. I love finding them and watching them as much as everyone else does. And so that's also my first sighting of Kunyuma, which is always great. Now I just got to find his brother, and then according to everyone, I've found the family tree. So. But hopefully we will get to see Quarantine sometime soon. I'm just ecstatic to have been able to spend some time with Kunyuma, and I'm definitely going to be back here in the morning to spend some more time with him. It's amazing how wonderful and still the bush is now. There's a few birds calling, but very little. Temperature is really, really nice. I guess probably a low low 20s, between 22 and 24 degrees. How's that for a good guess? Brian just checked online for me. The temperature is currently 23 degrees, and I said between 22 and 24, and which is about 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Very, very pleasant temperature. Another interesting fact through from Brian, from the start of the drive to about the end of the drive, we are dropping a degree centigrade every 20 minutes. And if Alex, if you pan off to the right, we can actually see Venus. The evening star, as it's so called, even though it's not a star. As we get further and further into the dry season and our winter, I'll definitely take some time to teach you guys some constellations. Fortunately, at the moment, they're not really up by the time we close down, but by next month they should be. Go ahead. Hi, Firm, I'd like to join you. Where are you? Okay, copy. So either he's left where he had the kill and headed down to the river, but the other vehicle seems to think they might have found quarantine as well. So I'm heading right there now to see if we can see what's going on. Jennifer? Yeah. I think this is the same one. Maybe I don't know the difference yet. I think this could be the same one. He was Lalapanzi when I left, but the Bamba is just here. No, guys, I think this is still Kunyuma. He might be going for a drink. Yeah, it is him again, so it's not a separate leopard. I'm just going to let the other vehicle go ahead for a while because we've spent quite a lot of time with him. So I'm just going to follow him through to the corner and then let the other vehicle go ahead. But we will stay with him. Jump and fall. Come. Maybe to pause. So, yeah, the other guy also agrees with me he might be going to drink, so we're going to stick with him. Oh. So unfortunately at the moment there's not much space for two vehicles, but once it crosses through the Moraiti it should be much easier sighting for both of us. Gone for. Where did he disappear to? I can't see him, for. There's no mati down here, so I'm not sure what he's doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna just try to see what he's doing. He's just in this hollow here. Sweat. I'm not sure what he's doing, for there's no mati there, but he's inside this hole just sniffing. Confirm, is he moving? So he's gone into quite a difficult spot there. I don't want to trap him between the two vehicles, so we're just going to stand by. Sorry, Roy, what is he doing? Having a snooze. Oh, look, he went to where the elephants have been digging for water. Clever boy. Sorry, Brian, go again. So he's come to check if there was water in there. I'm not sure whether he found any. That doesn't look like it. Or he's having a look where the elephants have been digging for water. Still, Alex, I think he is a bit snarly when he walks past the car. going to walk. But I think he is going to drink in the next 5 minutes. There's a pan close by, so maybe we extend. So guys, we are going to try extend for a little bit. I think he is going to drink in the next few minutes. So that's what we're going to do. What's the light? Sorry? I can't see behind. So after we lost him in the grass, he must have decided he was quite thirsty after eating. So he's come out and he's moving towards, there is a pan quite close by, actually where we saw the buffalo at the start of the drive. Good evening, Kay from North Carolina. Kay would like to know whether I'll be able to show you the Southern Cross. I most certainly should be able to. I could probably do it when we close off tonight. I can just see it coming up over the horizon. So he's checking all the dry water holes. And that one's also dry. The one with water is actually to my right. The station's at Holodendra is now on Twin Dams Road, heading south. He has hoisted the bomber in the drainage line off Enyala Road south. Probably about 50%. He's checked another dry water hole, and now it looks like he might take my advice and head back towards the one that I said had water. No. Yes, he's coming straight at us. My spotlight gone. Yep, we need to turn around. Make sure we don't end up in a hole. But I'm pretty sure he's going to head to that water hole where we had those 2 buffalo bulls. Right at the beginning of drive. We actually started from there this afternoon. Roy coming. I'm sure he's going to head to that mighty. There's a pan just to the north of you there that's got mighty in it. You need more spotlights or headlights? Good, Alex? Sharp and full.
Man.
Sorry?
Thanks, huh?
No problem.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too. No, that was
Ham?
that was
Yeah, doesn't blow out as much. So we're very close to that water now. Sorry? Good evening, Julia. Julia's asking me whether I think a leopard can smell water. I would say yes, probably. Not as well as one would think. So guys, I'm just going to have to scoot around because he's heading to the water and we want to be there when he drinks. Where's that little... There's the little road to the pan. Is it? No? Hang on, guys. I'm just trying to get into the right spot. So he just left the road and he's on his way into this. Sorry, Julia, yes, I do think leopards are able to smell water. Let's find my spotlight. Where did I put it? There he comes, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a magnificent sighting, guys? Incredibly lucky to do what I do for a living. You can actually even hear him gulping the water. Sorry about the clicking of my camera, guys. It's just such an amazing sighting. He's a thirsty boy. See the light catching his eye there. I know I've had some good sightings of leopards since I've been here, but this one is fast becoming my top sighting of leopards since I've been here. What do you think, Alex?
Well, definitely my best sighting in many years.
Oh, stunning. Oh, we heard something. Well, we could not have asked for a more magnificent last sighting for the drive. Very thirsty boy. Oh, he just doesn't seem to stop today. Look at that reflection, guys. Isn't that incredible? 2 leopards. Sorry about the clicking, it's just an amazing shot to not photograph. Wow, that is incredible. See how important it is to know about animals' habits. So as soon as we found, or Roy found him on the road and he'd left the kill, we knew he was going to go for a drink. And also knowing the area, the fact that we knew that this water was right here. Okay, I think he's probably not going to do too much more. So I'm just going to move a little bit away from the other vehicle. And then we're going to say goodnight, but we will be going back to check on him first thing in the morning. I haven't. It's literally just above him. I can just, unfortunately there's a tree, so I can only see one of the pointers. That's why I'm moving. And then Brian has just reminded me, I haven't forgotten about the Southern Cross. No, I haven't forgotten about the stars, guys, don't worry. I just want to move away. We couldn't see the Southern Cross from where we were. But maybe I'm not going to do too many stars tonight. We'll just do the Southern Cross for this evening. Let me just get out of this area. Don't worry, Raisa. You will get to see your stars. Yeah, we're just gonna wait a few seconds for Roy to move out of the area, because his light will hide the stars. I'm just gonna say, Como Shinanen, Roy. Thanks very much. Good sighting. Okay. Bye bye. Enjoy your dinner, guys. Bye. Okay. I can't see what's on the monitor at the moment. We had a little bit of an accident.
That's one way of putting it.
One way of putting it. I'm not going to. We'll ask Alex. I'll ask Alex about that a bit later. But Alex, can you see these two stars here?
Yes.
Okay. Those two stars, those two bright stars there, are called.
That's all the way up, eh, Brian?
The bottom star there is called Alpha Centauri, and the second star there is called Beta Centauri. They are the two pointers that point towards the Southern Cross. Interestingly enough, Alpha Centauri, the bottom star there, is actually a binary system, so there's more than one star there, there's two stars. And inside that system is the closest star to Earth apart from our Sun, and it's called, believe it or not, Alpha Proximus. So it is the second closest star to Earth. So the pointers show you where the Southern Cross is. So if we follow the two pointers and we go up, there's the middle axis of the cross and there's the long axis of the cross. You got it there, Alex?
Yep.
So that is the cross itself. And how you find south is a little bit more interesting. Is if you take, are you wide? So we can see both the pointers and the cross?
Yeah.
If you take a middle line from between the two pointers and you draw, so you bisect the two pointers in the middle, you take that and you draw a line out into the sky, and then you take the longest axis of the cross, you draw another line out into the sky, where those two meet, drop, and that's south. So on that note, guys, I'm going to say good night. Just wait for Alex there quickly. Guys, it's been a spectacular drive. Thanks for joining us. It's definitely been one of my best drives, and that sighting at the end was just incredible. It was to die for. And a racer, didn't forget the stars. And what I'll try to do is, if we have time towards the end of the evening, as it gets later, I'll try to show you some more constellations that will only be visible in about a month. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. I've had a spectacular time, and I can't wait to get up and do it all again in the morning. So good night, enjoy.